Hi everyone, my name is Untitled. I'm a tax consultant at Siam Legal. It's great to be back with you. In my last video, I went over some of the most frequently asked questions from expats living in Thailand. And well, I'm back today with more questions to help you navigate taxations in Thailand. Whether you're just getting started or have been here for a while, you don't want to miss this information. So if you're ready, let's get into it. The first questions of today is, well, I know I have to pay tax here, but when do I have to do that? Generally, a person is required to file a tax return within the 31st of March of the following year, reporting all the income he derived during the previous year if he has no spouse and his assessable income exceeds 60,000 baht, or his assessable income under only Category 1 exceeds 120,000, or if he has a spouse and his assessable income exceeds 120,000 baht, or his assessable income under only Category 1 exceeds 220,000 baht. In addition to this annual filing, if a person derives assessable income under Category 5, 6, 7, and 8, he must file a mid-year tax return reporting all the income he derived during the first half of the year, i.e. from the 1st of January to the 30th of June within the 30th of September of the year. However, any tax he paid at the time of the mid-year filing can be used as credit against the annual tax liability. The next questions of today is, what is assessable income under Category 1, 5, 6, 7, and 8? Well, there are 8 categories of assessable income. Assessable income under Category 1 is income from employment. This includes, for instance, salaries, wages, and pensions. Assessable income under Category 5 includes income from rentals of property. Assessable income under Category 6 is income from specified liberal professions, namely law, accountancy, architecture, medicine, engineering, and fine arts. Assessable income under Category 7 is the income from a contract of work whereby the contractor provides materials beside the tools. Assessable income under Category 8 is income from business, agriculture, commerce, industry, transportation, and other activities that cannot be classified into any other category of income, such as lottery winning prizes, gifts, and gambling. Another question of today is, how is my personal income tax calculated? Personal income tax is generally calculated based on a progressive tax rate system. Under this system, the rate of taxation increases as taxable income increases. The tax rates are divided into brackets, ranging from 5% to 35%. Each portion of taxable income that falls within a specific bracket is taxed at the corresponding rate. For the first 150,000 baht, you are exempt from tax. For the next 150,000 baht, you are taxed at 5%. For the next 200,000 baht, you are taxed at 10%. For the next 250,000 baht, you are taxed at 15%. For the next 250,000 baht, you are taxed at 20%. For the next 1 million baht, you are taxed at 25%. For the next 3 million baht, you are taxed at 30%. And any amount that goes beyond 5 million baht, you are taxed at 35%. Taxable income for annual tax computation is calculated by subtracting deductible expenses and allowances from gross assessable income. For mid-year tax computation, it is calculated by subtracting deductible expenses and half of allowances from gross assessable income. A further question of the day is, what are those deductible expenses and allowances? For deductible expenses, the amount that may be allowed as deductible expenditures depends on the category of assessable income that you derived. For instance, income under Category 1, i.e. employment income, is eligible for a standard deductions of 50% of the total income, but not exceeding 100,000 60,000 baht. Income under Category 5, i.e. income from lease of property, is qualified for a standard deductions of 10% to 30%. This depends on the nature of property leased. Income under Category 6, 7, and 8 can claim a standard deductions of 30% to 60% depending on the types of income or the types of the business. Assessable income under Category 5, 6, 7, and 8 may be deducted on an actual basis if the taxpayer can provide satisfactory evidence to the expenditure to the Revenue Department. For allowances, there are two types of allowances: personal allowances and specific allowances. And examples of personal allowances is the taxpayer's allowances, which is 60,000 baht per tax year. And examples of specific allowances is life insurance premium, which is allowed in an amount not exceeding 100,000 baht. However, the insurance policy must be at least 10 years, and the insurer must carry on the insurance business in Thailand. The final questions of the day is what will happen if I don't pay tax? Well, a person who is liable for tax but doesn't file a tax return or files an inaccurate tax return will face civil and perhaps criminal sanctions. For the civil sanction, a person who fails to file a tax return within the deadline will have to pay a surcharge of 1.5% per month of the tax due from the day following filing deadline until he has completed paid the tax due. A fraction of a month is counted as 1 month. In addition to the surcharge, if the person is summoned to appear before the tax authorities, they finally find that he found an inaccurate tax return, which caused him to pay less tax than he would have had to. He will have to pay a fine equal to the amount of the tax due. However, if they find that he hasn't filed any tax return, he will have to pay a fine equal to double the amount of the tax due. For criminal sanction, a person who fails to file a tax return within the deadlines will be subject to a fine of up to 2,000 baht. Besides, if they find that he intentionally provided false information or showed false evidence or committed fraud to evade tax or attempt to evade tax, he will be subject to an imprisonment of up to 7 years and penalties of up to 200,000 baht. If he deliberately intended not to file a tax return in order to evade tax, he will face a fine of up to 200,000 baht or imprisonment of up to 1 year's abode. Well, all of these are the answers to some specific questions asked by expats living in Thailand. If you have any questions regarding Thai taxation or would like to schedule an appointment with our tax consultants to determine your tax liabilities and how to legally reduce them, please check the information in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned on the latest legal insights in Thailand. Thank you for watching and see you next time.